What's your most embarrassing I thought I was alone moment? I went to the bathroom in a train station. It was pretty empty and I just needed to pee. I got in one of the stalls and did what needed to be done when I felt a fart coming. So, I let it out. It was loud and long, and midway farting, the lady in the stall next to me started laughing hysterically. I finished, went to wash my hands and leave so she won't see me, and she was still laughing. Could hear her from the hallway after exiting the toilet. Now I'm laughing too. That's great. Want to play battleshits? I was at Walmart with my sister and we had to use the restroom. I walked in and saw a lady shuffle into a stall. My sister must have followed after she closed the door and had not seen her because I was quietly tinkling and the lady next to me started blowing it up. I mean a fart symphony. My sister busted out laughing, screaming, "OMG, my name, stop! Laughing, stop, that's so gross!" She thought it was me. I just sat mortified as my sister kept on going. When I was done, I whispered to her that it wasn't me and it was someone else, and my sister was so embarrassed. She said your name at least, right? At first, I overlooked that part, and that made it even worse in my mind. It would have looked like she was just laughing and commentating on a complete stranger taking a shit. That's so gross. Stop. Yes, she said my name. However, she would not stop commenting on how gross it was, etc., which I bet made the lady dealing with her ass exploding feel pretty bad LMAO. Nothing like turning a simple bathroom trip into a stand-up comedy special. You were just trying to keep it real, and she got the VIP experience. I can just imagine her telling the story later, like, "You won't believe the concert I just heard. Here I sit so downhearted. Paid a nickel and only farted." I had just taken a shower and had gotten out when my dog came in and started running around wanting to play. I ended up chasing him out of the bathroom while nude, and he led my right to my sister, who had stayed home sick. Needless to say, she was curious why I was chasing our dog around while naked. It's not what you think. I'm just lonely. Pretending to be a raptor in the hallway at work. Hard to play that one off. Holy shit, your name isn't Daisy, is it? I used to do this and I was caught once, got a weird look. But one time Daisy caught me and she squawked back at me. It was awesome. I talk to myself when I'm alone. All the time, anywhere I happen to be alone. This includes when I'm working, so one time I'm stocking candy at work and I just bust out singing, "You light up my life." And I turn around and there's this poor customer looking at me trying not to laugh. I felt myself turn bright red, but I laughed awkwardly and said, "Sorry." He says, "Nah, it's all right, I do it too." Ditto. My doctor says that it's perfectly fine to talk to myself as long as I don't argue with myself. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes. When I was living by myself, I did the same. Always singing or making noises to fill silence. One time I was driving my sister and I around town after dark. It was, what I thought, silent in the car as I drove when my sister turns to me and goes, "What was that?" I say, "What was what?" And she goes, "You. You just clucked like a chicken out of nowhere." And I didn't even realize I had done it. In my mind, I was driving quietly. I volunteered at an animal shelter in my early 20s. I was the first one to arrive in the morning because I went there before my classes started, besides the office people, and cleaned the dog kennels. When I was done, I would sit with one of the dogs, Bella, that spent most of her life there and, well, talk to her. 5 times a week for months. One day I went into her kennel and greeted her. When I heard some from the supply room saying, "Bella wants you to know that you will be fine without that prick, and you should know your worth." I was shocked, and in my head I immediately went through a lot of messed up things I told that poor dog, and apparently also the Carl, 70, the cat guy. Carl the cat guy sounds based. I was too embarrassed to engage with him after that, but I wish he knew that I took his advice and freed myself from said prick shortly after. Thanks, Carl. Hope you're still happily napping with the cats. I unexpectedly started my period in the middle of a long meeting where I had to get out of my seat multiple times. I know women will get why that's a nightmare. Anyway, after that meeting, I ran to the bathroom and I thought it was empty. Once in the stall, I looked down and it was a complete horrific mess. Blood everywhere. I sadly said to myself, "No, uterus? We're supposed to be in this together. Why?" Suddenly, I heard a woman say, "Girl, I feel you." I was mad embarrassed. Awful but very funny reaction from the other lady. It's like we're all in this secret club. At least she understood the struggle. No shame in the period game. Oh, I got one. My husband and daughter have been sleeping on the couch for a few months because my kiddo has nightmares, and that's the current arrangement that works for everyone, as I am a super light sleeper. Our bedroom is at the top of the stairs on the second floor, and the couch is near the bottom of the stairs. For a few weeks, I was having some stomach issues and was waking up super gassy. Thankfully, I was sleeping alone with the door closed, so I'd wake up and let it rip to get all the gas out of my system before going downstairs. I came downstairs one morning after really having given it some gusto, and my husband and daughter were convulsing with laughter. I asked what they were laughing at, and my husband said, "I have to ask, do you take your earplugs out before or after you fart your brains out in the morning?" Turns out the door being closed didn't muffle a damn thing. My earplugs gave me a false sense of security. I worked with a deaf person. I don't think they know farts have a sound. I used to be a park ranger, and I had gone out to check on a park early one morning and someone had damaged a wooden post to the point it needed to come down. I went back to the shop, grabbed an axe, come back and merrily started smashing this thing to the ground before I realized it was too quiet. Looked up to the pavilion, and there were two teenagers having a really romantic little picnic, like little tablecloth, flowers, and everything, watching me in horror as I just rolled up and had started axing a wooden pole to the ground. My truck was unmarked, and I was just wearing jeans and a shirt. Just like the movies. God, I know. I was like, please don't think I'm a weird serial killer, I'm just in a hurry. This is hilarious, though. I hope it's a great story in their lives now. That one time they were almost the opening scene of a horror movie. My parents hired someone to fix the master bathroom, my bathroom. Not knowing this, I put my headphones in and started practicing my dance routines for school. Some of the moves were really crazy. I finished my first routine and the guy was standing at my door just laughing. I was pretty embarrassed. My husband, black, and I, white, moved in with his parents for a few months to help us get back on our feet. I'm very blessed to have amazing in-laws. I thought I was home alone one day and decided to do a charcoal peel-off mask before my shower. So I put it on and opened the bathroom door. My Phil was walking by in the hallway right outside the door and kind of stopped and stared at me. I don't think he knew what I had on my face, and I basically looked like I was in blackface. Neither one of us said anything or mentioned it ever again. I am dying at this. I was in the woods on a very desolate trail. I almost never see anyone else there, and I was looking at my options for college admissions on my phone while taking a break at an overlook and loudly talking to myself about niche classes I wanted to take that are only in the master's program and what I wanted to write about for my admissions essay. And suddenly there's another lady on the trail. I jumped and then said hi, and then realized she probably heard me talking to myself. I got into college, though. I've mentioned it before, but when I was in year 5, I was waiting for some food in the microwave to heat up, and beside me were some chicken thighs my mom left out to defrost the night before. I started getting freaky with the thighs and groping them and making moaning sounds while gyrating my hips. My mom walked in and asked WTF I was doing. God, I cringe just thinking about it now. I wonder if she remembers. My boyfriend and I weren't farting in front of each other yet, so after he went upstairs, I was ready to unleash a gas cloud. I bend over to feed the dogs, and this monstrosity was ready. I ripped it. It was so loud and so long, then I feel like maybe I'm not alone. I turn around and my boyfriend is standing directly behind me with a look of absolute shock on his face. I guess he hadn't gone upstairs. Well, that's one way to break the ice, I guess. My BFF and I would walk up a local mountain once a year, and on the way we would goof around and sing in our opera singer voices. Not a good day to meet our scary chemistry teacher on the trail. I still can see that single raised eyebrow 50 years later. Had to go to a bathroom at a restaurant. I'm weird about going number 2 in bathrooms unless I'm at home or somewhere I know. I let out a long one and say, "Hallelujah, finally, damn, that was long." Didn't know someone was peeing and they said, "Damn, man, that was a long one. I hope you let the rest out smooth." Now I always double check before my guts storm the gate. I got off of work a little early, so I came home and had a little alone time. I decided to put in my earbuds and go to my audio erotica app and have a little me time. I had plans with my best friend later that night. Nowhere near the time I was enjoying myself. But she decided to come over early. She has a key and let herself in and sat on the couch in the living room, which my bedroom door is connected to. Well, since I thought I was alone, I was loud. I held nothing back and she heard all of it. We've never talked about it, never acknowledged it. We both know it happened, but we act like it didn't. If I were your friend, I would have left and come back a little bit later. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe and comment if you had some of this awkward moments in your life. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.